Good morning, you guys. Welcome to my channel, Come On Shine. And today I came up with the topic drama. So, here you can find everything about drama, the elements, the types of drama, and in which period drama was so much famous, and drama took its growth and all. So, without wasting our precious time, let's get started. So, as you can see on the screen, drama and introduction. So, the word drama is derived from the Greek word chan or can, which means to do or to perform. Technically, it means a deed or action on the stage. Okay, drama is neither the name of statements in dialogue, not just a collection of characters as well as events, nor it is just entertainment and philosophy. Somewhere it is meant for purification, as we suppose we suffer from a lot of torture, and we are sad. So when we go to the theater, we feel relief, relax. So that's the meaning, the main meaning of drama. So here somewhere it means it meant for purification of hearts and sometimes for salvation. Its element on the one hand include characterization, plot and dialogue, and on the other hand stillness, sound and light. So it is difficult to define drama in a brief way. Types of drama. So generally classified drama classified into specific categories according to the mood, tone and action depicted in the plot. So the first type there are six types of drama. First is the comedy. So what is comedy? Comedies are lighter in tone and intended to make the audience laugh and usually have happy endings. And comedies place offbeat characters in unusual situations, causing them to do and say some funny things. And there are also several subgenres of comedy, including romantic comedy, sentimental comedy, and comedy of manners. As you can see here, I mentioned it. And the second type is the tragedy based on the darker themes. Tragedies portray serious subjects like death, disaster and human suffering in a dignified and thoughtful provoking way. Like Shakespeare's Hamlet, are often burdened by tragic character flaws that ultimately lead to the death of protagonist or demise of protagonist. All right. So the third type is melodrama. So, what is melodrama? The word melodrama is coined from mellow. Mellow means music, and dram means drama. It is therefore a play that utilizes music extensively, but the utilization of music is not the only factor in melodrama. What really makes it melodrama is its portrayal of the protagonist and antagonist. So, melodrama can be defined as a play that has serious action caused by a villain and a destruction of the villain, which brings about a happy resolution in the play. So basically it means कि जो एंटागनिस्ट होता है वो बहुत ज़्यादा सताता है प्रोटैगनिस्ट को. सो एट द बिगिनिंग प्रोटैगनिस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा सफ़र करता है, लेकिन अपने दिमाग से वो सारे चीज़ को क्लियर कर देता है, और फिर लास्ट में एंडिंग में क्या होता है, जो विलन होता है वो सफ़र करने लगता है और प्रोटैगनिस्ट जीत जाता है. ऑलराइट. So this is called melodrama. Basically इसका meaning जो है मेलो means music होता है, but that doesn't mean that music have melodrama or all that. So the next type is tragic comedy. Tragic comedy, actually in traditional tragedy, playwrights were not allowed to bring in any comic action. In Oedipus Rex, for example, we will observe that the atmosphere is tense from the beginning to the end. I hope you all are aware with Oedipus Rex. This was the very important famous drama we studied in first year in our times. As time went on, even from the Elizabethan period, comic characters were included in tragic plays, and this is called comic relief. So tragic comedy is a play that mixes both comic and tragic elements in equal proportions. Make sure in equal proportions. The characters take on tragedy with humor in bringing serious situations to happy endings. Alright, so this is called tragic comedy, जिसमें जो कैरेक्टर होते हैं वो ट्रैजिक एंडिंग इसका होता है, मतलब लेकिन वो कॉमेडी को फॉलो करते हुए ट्रेजेडी बनाते हैं। तो जो कॉमेडी बीच बीच में आ जाता है ट्रेजेडी बनाते टाइम, वो एक कॉमिक रिलीफ देता है, जिसका नाम है कॉमिक रिलीफ। इसको टर्म यूज़ किया गया है ये चीज़ शो करने के लिए। एंड द फिफ्थ इज़ द फार्स। फार्स बेसिकली इसका मीनिंग होता है कि फिजिकल ह्यूमर को कहते हैं फार्स। So farce, which is referred to as a comedy of situation, is a humorous play on a trivial theme, usually one that is familiar to the audience. And it presents physical activities that grow out of situation. Farce does not treat serious social issues. All right, so just like Charlie Chaplin, and in India also you can find many series. There were many serials were there. They were just showing the physical humor. They were acting in a way that makes the audience laugh, happy. So that is called farce. They don't use dialects, speaking style and all speeches. No speeches, no dialects, only actions were there, and they make audience laugh with the action. Okay, and the sixth is opera. So, the opera, a versatile genre of drama, combines theater, dialogue, music, and dance to tell grand stories of tragedy or comedy. Since characters express their feelings and intentions through song rather than dialogue, performers must be both skilled actors and singers. Mainly क्या होता है कि movies and dramas में you can find that characters were only acting, they don't sing. And म्यूज़िक का एक अलग स्टेज होता है जहाँ पर म्यूज़िक दर्शाया जाता है, तो एक्टर्स नहीं सिंग करते हैं। लेकिन ओपेरा में क्या होता है कि कैरेक्टर्स जो एक्टिंग करेगा उसको सिंगिंग भी आना चाहिए। दे सिंग as well as they act. All right, so the characters have both skilled actors and acting and singing. All right, so now this is completed types of drama. So there are 6 types of drama, as you can see. Then move to the next point, that is elements of drama. Elements, कौन से use होते हैं elements? So according to the Aristotelian conventions, 6 basic elements are followed in any drama across eras. Okay, यही 6 elements जो है एरिस्टोटेलियन कन्वेंशंस का जो 6 एलिमेंट्स है, ये हर ड्रामा में यूज़ होता है और अब तक यूज़ होता आ रहा है। सो द फर्स्ट इज डायनोया। सो डायनोया बेसिकली मीन्स द थीम, ओके, जिस पे पूरा स्टोरी बिल्टअप होता है। ओके, एंड द सेकेंड इज मिथोस। मिथोस इज व्हाट? द order of events occurring in a play is the plot. Mythos means generally the plot. लेकिन अगर आप इसका डिक्शनरी मीनिंग यूज़ करें देखेंगे तो mythos एक बिलीफ सिस्टम होता है जिसको रिलीजियस, बेसिकली इट इज़ अ रिलीजियस बिलीफ सिस्टम, बट इन ड्रामा इट मीन्स द ऑर्डर ऑफ इवेंट्स occurring in a play is the plot. What the characters do, what happens to them in the end constitutes the plot, and the unfolding of the story through the series of incidents, the sequencing, the background, and the climax constitute the plot. Okay, so the third is ethos. Ethos, what do you mean by ethos? So the characters of the play are essentially the persons who perform the drama. They are interwoven with the plot and bring out the theme of the play. So ethos generally means the characters. Okay, and Lexis, the dictionary meaning of lexis is the set of all words and phrases in a language. Okay, so but here it is only through the language, the dialogues, that the playwright communicates with the audience and brings his characters alive. The wit, accent, tone, soliloquies are few techniques which say a lot about a characters. And as for example, you can see to be or not to be, it is very famous dialogue. From which play you are going to tell me in the comment section, I want to see it. Okay, so this is the very famous soliloquy, is still fresh in the minds of the readers, still fresh. So, and the next is melos. The music composition. Melo is the music composition, the sound, the rhythm of the dialogues. The background discourse and sound effects is the melos element of the drama. Okay, And the next is sixth is the opsis. So the visual element like costumes, special effects, stage props, and makeup accentuate the visual elements of the play and highlights the characters. इसका mainly जो होता है other thing जैसे character का costume, background and जो visual effect दिखाता है उसको opsis कहते हैं. So these six are the what six are the elements of drama which we follow, still we follow. And let's move to the another section. So the next is the ancient and medieval drama. So the ancient Greek drama was the base for all later dramas. ग्रीक ड्रामा जो था वो बेस था, मतलब कि पूरे ड्रामास का बेस था. एंशियंट ग्रीक ड्रामा का जो फॉर्म था, जो सिस्टम था, उसको अभी भी फॉलो किया जाता है. एंड द ड्रामा अरोज इन 10th century in monasteries when modification were being done in mass. And religion could be explained to the illiterate using the plays which depicted scenes from the master's life. मतलब I hope you understood this. So the earliest liturgical drama. Here liturgical meaning, what is the meaning of liturgical? बाइबल और सेंट्स पर बेस्ड जो स्टोरीज होते थे जिसको चर्च के पास ही प्रेजेंट किया जाता था उसको लिटर्जिकल ड्रामा कहते थे. So the earliest liturgical drama was Whom Do You Seek, Esther Trop, and as you can see the date was CA 925. Okay, 2 is nothing, 2 just don't consider 2 in it. And the next is between 965 and 976, Ethelwald of Winchester composed Regularis Concordia, monastic agreement which contains a playlet complete with direction of for performance. So this was the basic feature and the history of ancient medieval drama. Now move to the ancient medieval drama. You can find Anglo-Norman literature. So Anglo-Norman literature, also known as the Norman French literature, includes Old French language writings as used in medieval England. After the Norman conquest in 1066, this dialect became the vernacular for court, the law, the church, schools, universities, and other areas of trade. An Anglo-Norman was an acquired tongue and a mark of gentleness used in Wales, Ireland, and to a certain limit in Scotland. Okay, इसको क्या बोला जाता था? इसको और किस नाम से जानते थे? नॉर्मन फ्रेंच लिटरेचर भी कहा जाता था. ठीक है. एंड second is the Norman conquest is also known as the Battle of Hastings. So the most obvious change after this battle was the introduction of Anglo-Norman as the language of ruling classes in England, displacing the Old English. Okay. And the third is the earliest play entirely in French. Lee Mystery D. Adam is Anglo-Norman, and this was the other plays belonging to this age was Lee Jew D. Adam, the play of Adam, and it is an Anglo-Norman play composed around 11th to 12th century. The semi-liturgical play is written in Old French. I'm talking about the play of Adam. This was composed around 11th to 12th century. Okay, and it was semi-liturgical play written in Old French. And the second was the Saint Resurrection, means resurrection of the Savior. So it is a 12th century incomplete play. Mark my words, incomplete play written in Anglo-Norman dialect. The play deals with the burial and resurrection of Christ. Okay, and only 522 lines of the play remain with us as a fragment. All we lost. Only 522 lines we have this time. Saint Resurrection. This was the play in Anglo-Norman dialect. written in Anglo-Norman dialect, incomplete play. And the next is Lee Jew de Saint Nicholas. This was the very interesting story. So this play concerns a pagan Saracen king. This king was a pagan who hears that Christians have invaded his land. The king then consults his idol. His idol's name was Tervagan about his future. His response, Tervagan both laughs and cries. The king then wages war, and the Christians and massacres them. And then the lone survivor Prudent is imprisoned, and he prays before the statue of Saint Nicholas. The king questions Prudent about the powers of his idol. In reply, Prudent claims that the saint's powers can help in recovering one's lost possessions. The king then wishes to test the power of the claim and keeps the statue in his treasure. Three thieves, however, steal the king's treasure. Enraged at Prudent, and the king sentences him to death. Prudhomme then prays to the saint, who in turn visits the thieves and persuades them to return the treasure. On finding his lost treasure, the pagan king releases Prudhomme from captivity and converts himself to Christianity. So this was the story of the play of Saint Nicholas, how the king, pagan king, becomes Christian. Okay, and then I'm gonna show you the drama of the age of revival. So here you can see on the screen there were three types of plays on the age of revival. So the first was the mystery plays, second was the miracle plays, and the third was the morality plays. In mystery plays you can find the Wakefield cycle, the Chester plays, the Coventry plays. ये जो Wakefield cycle और फिर चेस्टर प्लेस और फिर कोवेंट्री प्लेस है, ये प्लेसेस का नाम है उस प्लेसेस पर जहाँ पर प्लेस हुआ करते थे, स्टेज हुआ करता था, परफॉर्मेंस होते थे प्लेस का, उसी जगह के नाम पर उस प्लेस का नाम रख दिया गया, द वेकफील्ड साइकिल, द चेस्टर प्लेस एंड द कवेंट्री प्लेस. तो इसमें क्या है कि वेकफील्ड साइकिल में क्या है, so the Wakefield cycle has several brilliant plays attributed to the anonymous Wakefield master. This cycle consists of 32 plays commencing with the creation and the second shepherd play. तो Wakefield cycle में जो है ये जो the second shepherd है, ये बहुत important, बहुत famous प्ले है इसमें का, लेकिन ये जो था वो 32 प्लेस को डील करता है. वेकफील्ड साइकिल में 32 प्लेस हुए थे, जिसमें से बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट जो था, मोस्ट फेमस जो था, वो द सेकेंड शेफर्ड था. इसकी कहानी मैं आपको सुनाती हूँ. So the second shepherd's play was written in the late 15th century. It is a part of Wakefield mastery play cycle. The title of the play refers not to a second shepherd but to the fact that this play was the second of two plays that dealt with the biblical nativity story. Okay, so the play begins with a conversation between three shepherds. First name was Call, Gib and Daw. I'm sorry that I can't write here. I'm not finding any cursor to write. So just listen my words carefully. That's why you can get every characters easily. So three characters were there. They were talking each other. Call, Gib and Daw. Daw was a boy who works for them. Okay, as they watch over their sheep, they complain about such problems as the weather was not good and their poverty. Another character, Mac, arrives. Mac was the stranger, pretending to be a messenger from a southern lord, but the shepherd recognizes him and suspect that he plans to steal their sheep. As the those three shepherds settle down for a night on the moon, Mac takes advantage of the exhausted slumber to make off with means steal a prized sheep. Mac and his wife make a plan. Mac's wife name was Gill. They made a plan to put the sheep in a cradle and pretend it's her newborn son. When the shepherds wake and find the sheep gone, they immediately say Mac to visit. So the shepherd discovered the couple's ruse, and Mac is brought to justice with a merciful twist. They punish Mac by tossing him in a blanket and then return to the fields. An angel arrives. Meanwhile, an angel arrives and calls to the shepherds, telling them to find the child born in Bethlehem. Then they enter to a stable and discover Mary and Christ child. So the story thus mingles sacred and profane. This was the story, summary of the story, the second shepherds. It is very important. You can find questions have been asked from this story also in UGC net. So uh, uh, read it carefully. And so the second was the Chester plays. So the Chester plays have 25 plays, and they were more serious and didactic, acted on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Whitsun week from 1268 to 1577, and then in 1600. And important plays of the cycle are the Fall of Lucifer, as you can see here, the Fall of Lucifer, the Reaction, and the Fall. Okay, using strange animals and a flight of pigeon added interest and made this more realistic. Okay, यहाँ पर animals का भी use किया जाता था इस सब plays में, थोड़ा सा interesting इसको बनाने के लिए, interesting and realistic बनाने के लिए. Okay, so the third was the Coventry plays. These plays were said to be acted at Coventry on the festival of Corpus Christi. Okay, Corpus Christi जो क्रिश्चियन में एक फेस्टिवल होता था, उसी में इस प्लेस को एक्ट किया जाता था कोवेंट्री में. The 42 plays are preserved, and it is known that not all the plays were acted in one year. The custom was to perform the first 28 in one year and the remainder in the next year. Okay, तो ये जो the Wakefield cycle, the Chester plays, the Coventry plays है, इसमें ये बात ध्यान रखें कि Wakefield cycle में 32 plays थे, जिसमें से most important था the second shepherd, and Chester plays में कितने थे, 25 थे, जिसमें से important था the fall of Lucifer, the creation and the fall. And the Coventry plays में जो था वो 40 प्लेस थे, जिसको ये क्या था, कॉर्पस क्रिस्टी फेस्टिवल में प्ले किया जाता था. और फर्स्ट ईयर में 28 प्लेस को ही दिखाया जाता था, और जो बाकी रहते थे उसको सेकेंड ईयर में दिखाया जाता था. ओके, नाउ लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट प्ले, दैट इज मिरेकल प्लेस. Miracle plays. Generally, miracle plays were representations of lives of different saints, and for most important plays were the Conversion of Saint Paul and the play of the Sacrament. Okay, so the Conversion of Saint Paul. I'm just giving you a brief summary about this play. So the Digby Conversion of St. Paul is a Middle English miracle play of late 15th century. The play dominant motive is conversion, which it explores through the biblical figure of Saul, who thanks to a miraculous encounter is changed from an avowed persecutor of Christians to a steadfast advocate for the faith. And the stanzaic form of this play is a very regular rhyme royal. Okay, this was all about the Conversion of St. Paul, and the next is the play of the Sacrament. Play of Sacrament is the only host miracle play to survive in English. It was written in the East Midland dialect of Middle English not long after 1461. The play Sacrament tells the story of a miracle in which a rich Jewish merchant and his companions purchased the consecrated host of consecrated मतलब जिसको कोई किसी प्रोसेस से क्रिश्चियन बनाया जाता है. जिस तरह से बच्चों का वो होता है ना, बैप्टाइजेशन होता है क्रिश्चियन ये में, उसी तरह से ये एक प्रोसेस है किसी ऑब्जेक्ट को प्योर बनाना, स्पिरिचुअल बनाना. कॉन्सिक्रेटेड होस्ट फ्रॉम अ So, what rich Jewish merchant and his companions purchased the consecrated host from a Christian merchant and subject it to a series of tests in order to determine the truth of the Christian claim that Christ is present in it. Okay, and at the end of the play, he is converted and promises to repeat his story for the moral instruction of others susceptible to a blandishments of covetous. And next is the morality play. In this you can see these the three are the most important plays: the castle of perseverance, the summoning every man, the skeleton's magnificence. So, the morality, I'm going to give you the brief summary about morality play. So, the morality plays evolving from the medieval sermon conveyed a moral truth or lesson using allegorical terms. They personified moral qualities such as charity or voice. They personifies this, and you can find. So, the earliest complete extant morality play is the Castle of. This was the earliest play. Uh, mm, so the Castle of Perseverance was written around 1425, and Every Man written this the summoning Every Man was written around 1500 is perhaps the best known morality play, and it depicts every man's journey in the face of death. Okay, so this is all for today, and I will meet you in my next topic. I was just revising this, so I thought that I should give um, my subscribers this thing, because many students get very much confused to know what is drama, what is the forms of drama, what is the elements, what is the types of drama, how many plays are there, mystery, what is mystery plays, miracle plays, morality plays. They get confused, so I thought that I should make a separate video in it, and by the diagrams you can easily understand what is there and what was the types and how they were classified. Okay, so this is all for today, and keep loving me and keep loving literature. Subscribe to my channel, and give me a thumbs up if you liked my video, and hit the bell icon by which you can get my you would be informed whatever I would upload on my channel. So stay tuned. Bye bye, take care.